why does it matter to have a direction? Why does it matter to, why does it matter to have an experience of a transcendental? Why does it matter to, really feel you're doing something for humanity? Why does it matter to elevate your level of consciousness? They say that inequalities have always existed and that they are everywhere. To think that the situation here in Mozambique can change quickly is both unrealistic and a utopian dream.
Quando dizemos que a riqueza pertence ao povo e, portanto, deve ser melhor distribuída,
just let's take an example, simple. People assume that if they have a new house, they'll be happy. They have the new house, and what happens? They feel empty. So they think what they have to do, they have to get another car. So they do, and what happens? Oh, a little bit happy for a while, and then. So the whole society is revolving around things that are complete illusion. Completely illusion. And what is the name of that person? What did he do? Those are secondary things. Why don't we ask, how are you inside? When we say that the human being is made in order to function well, and that suffering, all suffering, is an illusion created by our minds, and that we can be happy and joyful most of the time, they say that we are sinners. They say, just look at reality. People have always suffered, and they always will. One could explain from the past or from the future. Which do you prefer?
Both, thank you.
Well, the past one is very simple. At a fairly young age, I was fortunate to have tried all the different things that we were told that make you happy. Have money, women, degrees, fame, etc., etc. I was a very early age, and I said, I was still feeling empty, and I said, what the hell do I do with my life? And at that point, I decided the only thing that's worthwhile doing was to try to change myself and the world. We say, we don't want your reality, which can destroy us all. We want utopia.
respondemos, não queremos então a vossa realidade que nos pode destruir, queremos uma utopia.
Unfortunately, at that point, I got in touch with this very small group of people in the humanist movement, and it sort of coincided with what I was looking for. I didn't know if what they were saying was right, but I knew that everything else that I'd tried, everything, politics from the ultra left to the ultra right, everything. I had no illusions about that. But I didn't know if these guys were actually had the answer, but I knew that it was not outside. And since then, I just made that decision to transform my life, and I've tried to do it since then. Now that's the explanation from the past, which is probably not very true. It is probably more that in the future there's a need for what I'm doing.
How do you know that Peter is not insane?
No, I think he probably is a little bit insane, but I think our world needs a little bit to get out of its reality. The reality we are living in is very depressing. it's the reality of wars, of economical inequalities, exploitation, of racial and religious violence. I think this, if this is the same reality, I rather have Peter's insanity as an alternative.
The examination of your own life will tell you what you've been trying to do and what you should do. So what have you been trying to do all your life? You've been trying to open the future. You've been trying to get rid of that fear. You've been doing that in an inefficient way, by having power, by having possessions, etc. And when have you felt happiest? That's when you got something? No, when you gave of yourself. So if you just examine your life, you have a clear indication of what you should do. So it's not because I say it. It's not because it's written in books. It's because your own examination of your life leads you to that conclusion.
There is another reality that our daily eyes, they don't see. And unless our inner look opens, our inner eye opens to that reality, there's always a part missing in our lives. People have been looking for happiness in many beliefs, dreams, and I have the feeling that it's always lacking short. There's always something missing, and if it's not material wealth, then people are looking for spiritual experiences also. But unless you come to that point where you experience this inner reality, something will always be missing.
We probably have a purpose here. We probably have something embedded within us that says, what should we do with our life? And there are three things that we need to do. And then anything else is secondary. What else what would these three things be? Well, one is to have a direction that goes beyond that absurdity, death, that it have the experience of being beyond that, having the experience of what one would call immortality, having the experience of losing all fear, having the experience of an open, beautiful future. But that's only the one of the components of the direction. It seems that since we're a part of this humanity, of this body, then we have to make a contribution. And we all know that because when we feel great, when we feel really happy, that's not when we get something. That's not when somebody, pats us on the back. It's when we give of ourselves and we don't expect anything in return. Those moments that are, we've grown. And the third one has to do with us, maybe as a species, evolving. I mean, we didn't just drop down from, some other planet. I mean, we've evolved from life. We're part of an evolutionary process. And now it's time for our consciousness to elevate itself.
Human beings have also for a long time been on a spiritual quest. They have always felt that there is, apart from the physical, a deeper spiritual reality that they are part of. And I think Friends of Life is an important step towards putting that into a very concrete experience, and that will also be important for coming about a new human being and a new society. Concretely speaking, we're speaking a human being without fears, and that can only come about when human beings experience their own immortality.
So these three things, being immortal, creating immortal actions, because what you do for others then just goes on and on and on, and elevating our level of consciousness. That's concretely what I mean. Because deep down inside all of us, we want this utopia to become a reality. Thank you very much. Immortals will go to the rest of humanity, and yes, we can do it within 4 years, and yes, it's going to be beautiful, and yes, it's not going to go boom. No, it's been too long to make this beautiful thing go away, and we will make sure that it won't.